What happened when a talk show host pushed Melania Trump too far? The answer shocked the world. The camera panned across a buzzing live audience in Los Angeles. The set was brightly lit with the unmistakable energy of a popular primetime talk show. Viewers at home were expecting the usual blend of humor and biting political commentary. The host, Alex Brooks, a well-known liberal figure with a reputation for grilling his guests, was seated confidently, his polished grin framed by the studio lights. Tonight's show was supposed to be like any other, until it wasn't. And now, Alex began, his tone carrying a hint of mischief. "We have a very special guest. Someone you'd never guess would set foot on this stage." The crowd murmured, curiosity rippling through the room. Then, as if orchestrated for maximum impact, Melania Trump emerged from backstage. Dressed in a sleek ivory suit, her posture exuded elegance and strength. The audience gasped, caught off guard by the unannounced appearance. Some clapped hesitantly, while others exchanged puzzled glances. Alex himself seemed momentarily thrown off, though he quickly masked it with his signature smirk. Melania approached the host's chair with calm confidence. "Thank you for having me," she said, her accent soft but deliberate. The audience's reaction was a mix of intrigue and skepticism, setting the tone for what would become an unforgettable night. The stage was set, but no one, not even Alex, could predict what was about to unfold. The interview began predictably enough, with Alex maintaining his usual charm. He leaned back in his chair, crossing one leg over the other, and offered Melania a polite smile. "So, Melania, it's been quite a journey for you since your time in the White House. What's life like now?" Melania met his gaze without hesitation. "Life is peaceful," she replied, her voice steady. "I focus on my family, my projects, and helping children through my initiatives." Alex nodded, but his eyes glimmered with a trace of mischief. He wasn't here to offer an easy conversation, and everyone in the audience knew it. Still, Melania's calm demeanor seemed to disarm him, at least for a moment. The crowd listened intently as she spoke about her post-White House work, from supporting underprivileged children to advocating for mental health awareness. "Interesting," Alex said after a pause. "But let's be honest. Many people have criticized you for remaining silent on controversial topics during your time as First Lady. How do you respond to that?" The room seemed to hold its breath, anticipating how she would handle the pointed question. Melania, however, remained composed, her hands resting gently on her lap. "I believe actions speak louder than words," she said simply. "It's easy to talk, but harder to make a real difference. I focus on what I can do, not on what others expect me to say." There was a subtle shift in the atmosphere. Alex leaned forward slightly, his expression sharpening. It was clear he intended to push harder. Alex's smirk widened as he tapped his pen against the armrest. "Actions speak louder than words. Interesting philosophy. But don't you think some moments demand words, especially when the stakes are so high?" His tone had shifted, carrying a subtle edge as though he was testing the waters before diving deeper. Melania tilted her head slightly, her expression unreadable. "I believe people have their roles. My role was to support my husband and our country in my own way." Alex raised an eyebrow. And supporting him meant staying silent even when his actions or words created division. A few gasps rippled through the audience. The question wasn't just bold, it was incendiary. Alex leaned back, folding his arms, clearly waiting for a defensive response. The room buzzed with anticipation, the tension almost palpable. But Melania didn't flinch. Instead, she let the silence linger for a moment, her gaze unwavering. "Division has always existed," she said finally, her voice as calm as ever. "Blaming one person for it is easy, but it doesn't solve the problem. I choose to focus on unity, not blame." The audience murmured in response. Alex seemed momentarily taken aback, but he quickly regrouped. "Fair point," he conceded. "But speaking of unity, there are rumors, controversies, things people want to hear from you directly. For example, your marriage." The room erupted in a collective gasp. The air felt heavy as the line of questioning veered into deeply personal territory. Melania's expression didn't change, but there was a flicker in her eyes, a spark that suggested she was ready for this. But what came next turned the conversation into something no one could have anticipated. Alex leaned in, his voice lowering just enough to make the moment feel intimate yet charged. Let's address the elephant in the room, Melania. Many have questioned your choices, your silence during some of the most tumultuous times in recent history, and even your relationship with the former president. Are you here to set the record straight? The audience sat on the edge of their seats, some whispering among themselves. This was the moment they'd been waiting for, a confrontation that promised fireworks. Alex's smirk grew, sensing he was about to corner his guest. Melania, however, didn't take the bait. Instead, she straightened her posture, her face calm but commanding. "I am here to speak for myself," she said firmly, her accent carrying a subtle sharpness. "Not for rumors. Not for stories made by people who do not know me." Alex opened his mouth to interrupt, but Melania wasn't finished. Her voice gained momentum, cutting through the air like a razor. "Everyone has opinions," she continued, her words deliberate. "But opinions are not facts. I know who I am, and I know what I stand for. The rest is just noise." The crowd fell silent, absorbing the weight of her words. Even Alex, the seasoned host known for his quick wit, seemed momentarily at a loss for how to respond. His smirk faltered, replaced by something resembling genuine surprise. Melania's gaze swept the audience. "It is easy to judge someone from the outside," she added. "Harder to look inside yourself and ask why you feel the need to judge." The room erupted into applause, some rising to their feet. Alex, still recovering, attempted to regain control. "Well," he stammered, "that's, quite a perspective. But surely you understand why people feel—" Melania cut him off with a small, polite smile. "I understand more than you think," she said. The applause grew louder. But Alex wasn't done yet. His next move raised the stakes even higher. He leaned forward, his pen now resting forgotten in his hand. His voice took on a sharper tone, one that seemed to dare Melania to falter. "You know, Melania, there's something people have always been curious about. How do you reconcile your platform of unity and kindness with some of the more, let's say, controversial statements your husband made? Statements that many say divided the nation?" The room fell into an uneasy quiet. All eyes darted between Alex and Melania. It was the kind of question designed to corner someone, to put them on the defensive. But Melania, ever composed, didn't miss a beat. She placed her hands gently on her lap, her expression calm yet firm. "People see what they want to see," she began. "My work has always been focused on helping children, promoting kindness, and showing respect. I cannot control what others say or do, but I can control how I act. And I choose kindness." Alex raised an eyebrow, clearly unimpressed by what he perceived as a vague response. "But surely," he pressed, "there were moments when you could have spoken out, taken a stand?" Melania's eyes narrowed just slightly. Her voice cut through his interruption. "Taking a stand is not always about shouting the loudest," she said. "Sometimes it is about staying true to your values, even when it is not popular." The audience broke into applause, some even cheering. Alex, momentarily stunned, seemed unsure how to proceed. But his hesitation was brief, because the moment that truly silenced the room was still to come.